Welcome back to the channel. I haven't uploaded any video for quite a long time, but there were reasons for that. I have spent an enormous amount of time preparing this video just to provide you with verified information, and now I can say with full responsibility that it was worth it. Many doubts regarding contracts will be resolved. So without further ado, let's get into that. I've looked through a lot of threads about contract drops and many people's observations. Many believe that there is an extremely low chance of a drop behind it, and it's just RNG mechanics. However, I am into that since familiars were implemented, and the idea of a random drop just never seemed to match my observations. The pattern just kept repeating itself. I could spend a very long time trying to get a contract and failing, only to receive it very quickly the next day. The same applied to the number of contracts in one day. I could receive up to 6, only to receive none the next day with a similar effort. I will not explain each case here. It was simply clear to me that this was not a fully random system, and there was something extraordinary behind it. But of course the biggest problem was finding it and prove it. So from the beginning of February I started to look closely at the circumstances of each contract I received. I also asked a couple of my close clanmates to alert me on Discord if they receive a contract. After a few weeks of data collection, some correlation began to become noticeable. And this is where things get interesting, because it turns out that we shouldn't be wondering how contracts work, but when. To clarify, I noticed that all familiar contracts drop at a specific time, and I can't blame you if you're skeptical about this. Either I was, and there was a good chance that at that point I had a way to systematically receive contracts. But what worked for me, for some reason, could work differently for other people. So I decided to expand my investigation and share my theory with a few trusted people. And here I would like to be grateful to Lamey for his commitment. Thanks to him I managed to confirm this theory and reach several other conclusions. So here it is worth demonstrating my observations. I noticed a 7 minutes time frame every half hour in which all my contracts dropped. So we have a chance to receive a contract exactly between the 59th and the 6th minute of every hour, and between 29th and 36th minute of every hour. However, it is difficult to say whether it is strictly related to the server time or the moment of server's daily restart. So you have to pay attention to this because there might be small shifts here. My server currently restarts at 3 a.m. and its time is the same as the local time. After introducing Terror Rifts, the time frame for dropping contracts starts exactly when the rift occurs. If on your server the time is exactly as local, you rather shouldn't experience any shifts. It is worth saying here that the contract in the middle of the time frame has a chance of being dropped from elites and bosses. So to maximize your chances, it's a good idea to focus on defeating as many elites as possible during this time. Keep in mind that this is still a chance, not a guaranteed drop. However, if you focus on intensive farming during these 7 minutes, you will notice that the chance is not that small. On average, it takes a few tries to get contract. but I often got the contract on the first try. When I asked Lamy to test this theory, he not only received the contract, but also noticed an increased drop of legendary items. He suggested that a pool of legendary drops could be coded every half hour, and our further investigation seems to confirm this. Unlike contracts, legendary items also drop at different time marks, but it seems that the chances are higher during mentioned time frame. To not basing this video only on words and screenshots, I would like to show recordings from the contracts I have dropped. These are just a few of all the tested samples, but it is worth paying attention to the time mark. In practice, along with a few people, we managed to receive over 200 contracts in the middle of the time frame. You're probably wondering how many contracts we received out of the time frame. The answer is none. At least based on the collected data, it is clear that the contracts can only drop during these 7 minutes. So it is safe to say that making 6 quick 7-minute runs on the accursed tower is equivalent to 3 hours of continuous farming. Of course, if for some reason you didn't take a break when you could have received the contract. I'm not surprised that so many people had problems with contracts, and fortunately it turns out that farming could be unproductive if it was not done at the right time. Another issue is the contract cap, and again, based on my observations and collected data, I can say that there is a weekly cap. Most likely it is 10 contracts per week. But the interesting thing is that the first 6 contracts can be received in 1 day. If this happened to me, despite my best efforts, I receive just another 4 contracts by the end of the week. It's just that no matter what I do, the game doesn't let me get more than 10. But maybe someone will be able to get more, so I can't confirm at 100%. But there is a correlation between different events in the game. I can certainly say that it works for contracts, as well as suspicious drop increased for legendary essences and elite spawn. That's why you're probably wondering now whether it has any effect on legendary gems. We have been wondering about that with Lamy too, because many of you surely remember the theory of increased drops after the weekly restarted on Monday. We thought it might also have something to do with the time frame, so we conducted a couple of tests. Surprisingly, at first the results were very promising. However, one successful attempt could not constitute any evidence, and with subsequent attempts that theory didn't work. Many people have been extremely lucky recently and have received 5-star gems at various time marks, At least for now, I can only confirm contracts 100%. With that being said, if you have any observations after watching this video, it would be great if you share them in the comment section. Perhaps we will be able to discover some other correlations together. I hope that contract farming will be much easier for you now, and especially for people who haven't seen a contract for weeks already. I will be grateful if you leave a like and share this video with other players, as well as subscribing to the channel to stay up to date. And as always, thanks for watching.